stage of opportunity and strength. Have you ever noticed that as we get older, things just seem to change? Maybe your energy isn't what it used to be, or certain aches and pains are becoming more frequent. It's a natural part of life, but that doesn't mean we have to accept it without understanding what's happening in our bodies. For seniors, recognizing the early warning signs that our time might be drawing near can help us prepare and ensure that the remaining years are filled with meaning, joy, and comfort. The more we know about these signs, the more control we have over our lives. Today, we're going to discuss something that may seem uncomfortable to think about, but it's something that can help you or your loved ones make informed decisions for the future. In this video, we'll cover 5 important warning signs that may indicate an elderly person is in their final year. These signs are not always obvious, but knowing them can guide you in making the right decisions, whether it's about care, health, or personal choices. Welcome back to your own channel, The Golden Year Guide. As we age, we're often faced with questions about how to maintain our health and well-being. However, there are certain changes that can indicate we may be nearing the final stages of life. The key is to recognize these signs early and take action. Let's dive right into the first sign. The first sign is significant weight loss. You may notice a loved one's clothes starting to fit differently, or that they're simply losing weight without any intentional effort. Unexplained weight loss can be a sign of many underlying health conditions. It could point to something as simple as a decrease in appetite, but it could also be a sign of more serious issues like heart failure, cancer, or even advanced stages of dementia. When the body starts to lose weight rapidly, it's a signal that the body's systems are no longer functioning in the same way they used to. You see, when our bodies are not getting enough nutrition, the body begins to burn fat and muscle to keep itself going, which leads to weight loss. This can affect everything from strength to immune function, making it harder to fight off infections. This doesn't mean that every instance of weight loss is alarming, but it's important to look at the bigger picture. If someone who was once active and eating well starts to experience rapid weight loss without any explanation, it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. Next up, the second sign that we need to watch for is a decline in the ability to perform daily tasks. At some point, we all start noticing that certain tasks take longer or become more difficult. Maybe it's harder to climb stairs or getting out of bed is a struggle. But when it comes to a significant decline in the ability to take care of oneself, it's a sign that something deeper might be at play. For example, if someone is no longer able to bathe themselves, cook, or manage household chores like they used to, this can indicate a decline in both physical and cognitive health. This could be related to a range of health conditions, like advanced arthritis, Alzheimer's, or other types of dementia. In fact, when people lose the ability to do basic tasks, it often signals that they're no longer able to manage their own personal care and may need additional support or intervention from loved ones or healthcare professionals. It's important to pay attention if you notice a loved one becoming more and more dependent. The loss of independence, especially for those who were once highly independent, can be deeply emotional and frustrating. So, the best thing you can do is keep an open line of communication and offer your help when needed, but also be proactive about looking for other signs that might be more concerning. So far, we've talked about significant weight loss and the decline in performing daily tasks. These are the first 2 warning signs that can indicate a person might be in their final year. Recognizing these signs early can help you or your loved one get the necessary support and care. But there are still a few more signs that you need to be aware of, and we're going to discuss them in just a moment. Stay tuned for the next part where we'll uncover more signs to look out for. Remember, this isn't just about being aware of potential end-of-life signs. This is about giving yourself or those you love the best chance to live out these years with dignity and care. As we continue exploring the signs that may indicate an elderly person is approaching the final stages of life, it's important to remember that these aren't always easy to detect, and often they develop gradually. But when recognized early, these signs can help us make informed decisions, ensuring the best quality of life for our loved ones. Now, let's dive into the third warning sign: significant changes in breathing patterns. You might have noticed that as we age, our breathing can change. Sometimes it's just a little more labored after a long walk or a minor exertion, and that's entirely normal. However, when breathing becomes irregular or labored during rest. Even without exertion, it's something to take seriously. You may notice that a loved one starts having shortness of breath or feels winded when doing simple tasks like walking to the bathroom or eating. Sometimes it may not even be noticeable during regular activity, but you may see them using extra effort just to breathe, even when sitting still. The most concerning type of change is when someone starts to develop Cheyne-Stokes respiration, which is a pattern of breathing where the person experiences cycles of rapid breathing, followed by periods of no breathing at all. This can be a clear sign of a body that's no longer able to sustain its normal rhythm, often due to heart failure or a sign of other terminal illnesses. While it's a difficult change to witness, understanding that these symptoms may be part of a larger picture can help us to seek the appropriate medical support. If you or a loved one are noticing these breathing irregularities, it's important to discuss it with a healthcare provider who can evaluate the situation and provide further guidance. The fourth sign to watch for is an increasing level of confusion or disorientation. Have you ever experienced that moment where you can't remember where you put your keys or forgot an appointment? That happens to everyone from time to time, especially as we get older. But if you notice someone regularly forgetting things, getting confused about where they are, or struggling to recognize family members or close friends, it could be a sign of something more serious. For seniors, increasing confusion can be one of the first signs of cognitive decline. It might start small, perhaps they forget a name here or a date there, but over time, it can worsen. In some cases, this confusion is related to dementia, a condition that affects memory, thinking, and reasoning. People with dementia may find it difficult to recall familiar tasks, conversations, or even their own personal history. This decline in cognitive function can be especially troubling when it begins to affect day-to-day living, but it's not always just dementia. Confusion can also be caused by a sudden decline in physical health, such as a stroke, infections, or even severe dehydration. So while confusion or disorientation might seem like a common part of aging, it's important to take note of how frequent and severe these changes are. For instance, if the confusion seems persistent or gets worse over time, it's worth reaching out to a medical professional. Now, we've covered some very important warning signs, including changes in breathing and cognitive decline. These signs are subtle at first, but can become much more noticeable as time goes on. However, there's still one more critical sign to discuss before we wrap up. Let's move on to the fifth and final sign of the day. The fifth sign to watch out for is a drastic shift in mood or behavior. It's not uncommon for people to experience mood changes as they age. Perhaps they feel more irritable than they used to, or they become quieter or withdrawn. But when these mood swings become more extreme, it could be a warning sign. For example, some people in their final stages of life may become overly anxious, fearful, or depressed. They might lose interest in activities they once enjoyed, show little to no emotional response, or withdraw completely from family and friends. This shift in behavior could stem from emotional and physical exhaustion as the body begins to slow down and experiences more discomfort or pain. However, it's not just emotional changes that might signal a decline. Behavioral changes, such as becoming unusually combative or easily agitated, can also occur. These shifts could be related to underlying health issues, medications, or even a natural part of the aging process. It's essential to talk openly with your loved ones and healthcare providers about any behavioral changes, as there may be treatments available that can help ease these transitions. As we approach the conclusion of this part, we've covered some of the most important signs to watch for: changes in breathing, confusion, and shifts in mood or behavior. Recognizing these signs early can help us make necessary arrangements, provide proper care, and support the loved ones around us through what can be a difficult journey. But remember, these signs don't always mean that the end is near. They are simply indicators that something may be happening, and the key is to be aware and take action. Being aware allows us to make better choices, whether it's seeking medical advice, making life changes, or simply being there for the ones we love. Stay with me as we head into the final part of our discussion, where we'll summarize everything and give you some final thoughts to ensure you or your loved ones can live life to the fullest at every age. As we come to the final part of our discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've talked about so far. Recognizing the signs that an elderly person may be in their final year is not just about identifying the inevitable. It's about providing comfort, support, and ensuring that the remaining years are filled with as much dignity and peace as possible. The signs we've covered today, the significant weight loss, decline in daily functions, irregular breathing, confusion, and mood changes, are all crucial indicators that we need to pay attention to, but they are not the end of the story. Instead, they offer an opportunity for us to intervene in ways that can improve quality of life. Now, let's take a moment to discuss what steps we can take to help our loved ones during this challenging time. When someone shows signs of these health changes, it's important to consider their comfort above all. One of the best things you can do is ensure that they are surrounded by support, both physically and emotionally. This means being present and available to listen to their concerns, providing assistance with their daily activities, and ensuring they are receiving proper medical care. For instance, if someone is struggling with confusion, it's essential to create a safe, calm environment. Familiar objects, photos, and regular routines can help ground them, even when their mind is wandering. Communication is key here. Try to speak slowly and clearly, allowing time for them to process what's being said. Keeping the conversation positive and supportive can make a huge difference in their emotional well-being. Similarly, when it comes to significant weight loss, one of the first steps is to consult with a healthcare provider to rule out any underlying medical conditions. Sometimes, nutritional supplements or modifications to their diet can help reverse the trend and restore some of their energy. If eating becomes a challenge, offering smaller, more frequent meals can be a helpful alternative. It's also crucial to monitor their hydration levels, as dehydration can worsen many health issues, including confusion and fatigue. For those experiencing difficulty with breathing, it's important to monitor and track these changes carefully. If shortness of breath becomes a regular issue, seek medical advice immediately. There are treatments available that can help ease breathing difficulties, from medications to oxygen therapy, and in some cases, it may even be necessary to change the living environment to make it easier to breathe, such as ensuring adequate ventilation or reducing allergens in the home. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of things. When someone begins showing signs of depression or anxiety, it's essential to approach the situation with empathy and understanding. Sometimes these emotional shifts can stem from a fear of the unknown, a loss of independence, or the realization that their body is changing. Encouraging open conversations about their feelings and offering a listening ear can help alleviate some of the emotional weight. In some cases, professional counseling or therapy might be a good option to help them cope with these changes. Sometimes, simply reassuring them that they are not alone in their journey is enough to provide comfort. As we wrap up today's video, let's remember that age is not a barrier to living a fulfilling life. Yes, we will all face challenges as we grow older, but that doesn't mean we lose our ability to live with joy, purpose, and resilience. By recognizing these warning signs early and taking proactive steps to manage them, we can help ensure that the last years of life are lived in the best way possible, with dignity and care. And remember, it's never too late to start making changes to improve your health. Whether it's through small adjustments to diet, exercise, or seeking medical care, every step you take makes a difference. Don't wait for a crisis to prompt action. Take control of your health and well-being today. Thank you so much for joining me in this important conversation today. I hope the information shared here has been helpful in empowering you with knowledge about the signs to watch for in the elderly. If you've noticed any of these signs in yourself or a loved one, it's not too late to seek help and make changes. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the Golden Year Guide for more content that focuses on health, well-being, and living life to the fullest at any age. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below, as I'd love to hear how you're managing these changes in your life or in the lives of those you care about. Remember, aging is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Here's to living your best life at any age. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other. You are not alone on this journey.